There's some myths about couples therapy that I think we ought to bust here today. One of the things I hear a lot about is that in order to come to couples therapy, you have to be in crisis. Hi, I'm Tom Philp with Stonebridge Couples Therapy. One of my favorite shows a few years back was a show called MythBusters, where a couple of guys named Jamie and Ryan were trying to bust different myths in each episode. A couple of my favorite were they took a water heater that we would all have in our homes, and they were trying to see that if you explode that water heater, would it actually shoot through the roof of the house? They actually confirmed that myth, that you could take a water heater and shoot it through the roof of the house. Now, the only exception for the show's purposes is that you had to have an extra large water heater, actually bigger than what many of us would have in our own home. Another interesting episode is they tried to fool a motion sensor that we would have in our homes by covering yourself in carpet or a sheet. Could you somehow fool the wave motions and detectors so that you could walk past a motion detector? That actually was busted. You can't actually fool the motion detectors in our homes. Those are really hard to do. But you know, it got me thinking, there's some myths about couples therapy that I think we ought to bust here today. One of the things I hear a lot about is that in order to come to couples therapy, you have to be in crisis. And that's just simply not true. We get lots of couples that really just have one or two things that they want to iron out in their relationship. They're not in crisis. They're not on the edge of divorce, but they've been together a while. They recognize a few problem patterns and a few issues they keep facing. And so they come to somebody to help them sort of iron that out. So myth busted number one, you don't have to be in crisis to go to a couples therapist. Myth number two, the therapist is going to take sides. Now, let me tell you, this is a big busted myth, because any good therapist, any good couple therapist is not going to take sides. As a matter of fact, one of our first jobs is to be able to stand in the shoes of each partner and really understand what it is like for each partner in that relationship, to understand their experience and their perspective of the problem and what's going on. So myth busted, we do not take sides. What we do is help couples really understand the relational patterns and the negative patterns especially that keep them stuck, that keep them from being able to resolve conflict, communicate in a healthy way so that they feel like they're resolving their issues and moving the relationship forward. So we talk a lot about cycles, and that's really what's happening between the couples, not necessarily in any one particular couple or partner themselves. So myth busted, we do not take sides. Myth number three, and we're going to bust this one as well, you can do it on your own. Can a lot of couples get through issues and resolve conflict? Absolutely. They absolutely can. But when you realize that the same patterns keep playing out, the same issues keep coming up, then it's time to reach out and get some help. And there is no shame in that. We are here because we are specialists in this field. You wouldn't try to perform heart surgery on your own. You would go to a cardiologist because they have special training to help you be able to deal with your heart issues. And we're very much the same. We're heart specialists too, but we work a lot with cycles, and we work a lot with emotions, and we work a lot with protections to help break those negative patterns for couples. So can they do it on their own? Yes, they can. And if they can, they don't show up at our doorstep. They learn how to resolve that and fix that on their own. But if you find in a relationship that certain patterns keep coming up over and over for you, then it may be time to reach out and ask for some help from a specialist that can help you. Hey, these are three myths that are busted. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next week.